This is the latest pedal set from SIMJACK, a brand well known to me and this channel, and maybe you too. SIMJACK are purveyors of budget-friendly sim racing hardware. The SIMJACK UT pedals are an evolution of their very popular Pro pedals, a pedal set I have reviewed previously. I also have an unboxing video out that compares the differences between the SIMJACK UT and the Pro pedals. You can check that out from the link below, but before you head over to that, stick around here and I'll show you all the features of this new pedal set, and that's coming up next. And in the final segment of this review, we'll take them to the track for testing and evaluation. And don't forget to smash the like to support my channel. Here we go. On my table is the complete kit, the 3 pedals and included accessories. A bag of M6 nuts and bolts for mounting the pedals. The controller box, the pedals plug directly into one side of this hub. On the other end is the USB socket for the PC connection. This USB cable is 1.5 meters. There are 3 sets of brake pedal elastomers included. One of these is pre-installed on the pedal. Each set has a different shore hardness rating. I'm going to run through each pedal separately, starting with the throttle. The pedal face is drilled with additional countersunk holes to allow for height adjustment. Rotating the collar around the threaded rod will increase or reduce the spring load tension. Adjusting the elevation of the rod connected to the pedal changes the leverage pushing into the spring and also influences the pedal stiffness. Below the mainspring is a 10 kg gas spring damper. The low position of the damper means it's not directly providing that full 10 kg of resistance against the leverage of the pedal bearing over it, though it does add a layer of feedback that does make the pedal feel more realistic. The rectangle bar is a load cell sensor. The spring is compressed by the pedal motion, applying force to the load cell. The pedals feature tightly fitted bearings to ensure smooth motion and prevent lateral pedal play. The pedal stop can be moved to change the amount of pedal travel. There are 5 points of angle adjustment. The clutch pedal has a sturdy raised spring assembly designed to emulate a clutch pedal sensation. The brake pedal features a 200 kg load cell attached to the frame with 6mm thick mounting plates. Between the load cell and the pedal arm are the stacked elastomers and preload spring. The elastomers are easily swapped out. I showed you earlier, 3 sets are included. It's a matter of preference which set to use between the softest and the firmest ones. 60, 80 and 90 sure is a good range. The diameter of these elastomers is larger than other brake elastomers I've tested in the past, and that gives me some confidence they will last a long time. SIMJACK informed me they spent 3 months finding a manufacturer and testing these new elastomers. Along with the launch of the UT pedals comes SIMJACK's new calibration software. Previously, SIMJACK pedal owners could only rely on third-party software, namely FreeJoy or DiView. SIMJACK's in-house software makes the job of calibration a more user-friendly experience than using either FreeJoy or DiView. I have one pedal calibrated here. The two bars indicate the load cell sensor output. Raw is the uncalibrated output, and out is the calibrated output. The throttle is not calibrated yet. You can see the two bars are displaying identical readings. To calibrate the pedals, click on Calibrate so the button turns green, then simply press the pedal all the way and release. Once done, click Calibrate once more to turn the button back to grey. This won't be applied to the pedal until you press Save Config to Device. Now we can see the pedal out bar is displaying the fully calibrated pedal output. Finally, we need to do the same with the brake pedal. During the calibration procedure for the brake, push the pedal with the amount of force you want set for the 100% braking input. You may need to return here and try this more than once to get the right measure set to your preference. Also, if you swap the elastomers, recalibrating the brake will probably be required. The software also lets you adjust the curve input. The drop-down menu isn't being picked up by the recording software, but there are 4 defaults to pick from. You can manually fine-tune the bars by clicking on them. As before, save config to device to apply any changes. If you're experiencing any issues with signal jitter from the load cell, you can increase the filter level. Just be aware the high settings will introduce latency. Deadband refers to dead zone. A small percentage is necessary. The default is 5%, which should be fine for most. You can fine-tune it by entering a new number, and don't forget, write config to device to lock it in. At the beginning of this presentation, I mentioned that in my separate unboxing video, I compare the features between the SIMJACK UT and the Pro pedals, and there is good reason to make that comparison, as the UT pedals are essentially SIMJACK Pro pedals with some updated features. And I will tell you right off the bat, these changes basically answer all the negatives I covered in my SIMJACK Pro pedals review. Now the Pro pedals are not bad, but I did highlight some points where improvements could be made, or where some basic user DIY could improve them. It would seem SIMJACK has listened to the community, and now we have these UT pedals. The UT pedals are structurally solid, stainless steel parts bolted together along with the chunky bearings. There's no flex or side-to-side pedal wobble. You can pound on these things all day long. They remain sturdy and built to last. Earlier I showed you around the adjustment points. All those tweaks will enable you to dial in these pedals precisely, so they work around your requirements rather than you working around the limitations of the pedals. Pedal tension, pedal travel and pedal angle. Even with the pedals mounted, everything is easily accessible. The gas dampers are a component a lot of people are unsure if they're needed. On one hand, they don't add much to the cost of the pedals. On the other hand, they aren't essential. They add a sensation to the pedals, it's an enhancement, but they don't improve the performance of the pedals, so not needed for any technical advantage. Personally, I do like the slightly dampened resistance. If you want to keep the cost down, sure, skip them altogether, or just get 1 or 2 of them. I don't think it really impacts the brake either way, so that's the least important one, but it's very nice to have on the throttle. For the clutch pedal, I'm not too fussed, and that's my opinion on the dampers. Now let's talk about the function of each pedal. The throttle has a nice firm weight resistance and long pedal travel, so plenty of motion for modulating the gas. The pedal face is long and a wide base, that's ideal for heel and toe shifting. A solid pedal, no complaints from me. Works great and feels good. The clutch has an action that feels like a real clutch pedal, so the mechanism is working as intended. I made no adjustments to it. Out of the box it was just fine. Functionally, it gets the job done. Nothing more I can add. I'm happy with it. We're going to spend more time on the brake pedal. it's the most important pedal to get right. We touched upon the different elastomers earlier. I'm using the 60 Shore set. That's the setup that suits me. Also take note of the preload spring. It's an important feature too. For now, just observe the compression of the elastomers. As next up, I'm going to swap them with the green 80 Shore ones. Being firmer, the green elastomers flex less, and in turn, the brake pedal is stiffer and the pedal travel is shorter than before. When it comes to which is best, that's entirely a personal preference. The purpose of this demonstration is just to show you the difference. Now the 90 Shore blue elastomers. They're belly compressing, so not very elastomy for elastomers, though maybe you want a super stiff brake pedal. There's no requirement to use all yellow, green or blue. Maybe yellow is too soft and green is too firm. It's simple enough to mix and match them into different combinations. The preload spring provides a linear portion of pedal movement before making contact with the progressive resistance of the elastomers. You can adjust the spring stroke by tightening the collar, but don't forget you may need to recalibrate the brake in the software to compensate for the additional tension pressing into the load cell. The spring serves the purpose of giving the brake a two-stage action. There's a clear distinction of feedback from the spring section and the elastomers afterwards. It's a reference point. Each time that spring compresses, I'm hitting around the same measure of brake input. I can use that feel from the pedal to apply pressure to the spring section for lightly scrubbing speed or trail braking, and for heavier braking, pressing more weight past the spring compression into the progressive elastomers. I'm using muscle memory. There's no guesswork. It's intuitive, accurate and repeatable. My car control under braking using these pedals is excellent. I'm hitting my braking points consistently with confidence. Furthermore, it's a great feeling brake pedal. Out of the box, the best feeling budget brake pedal I've tested to date. No third party modding needed here, it's already perfection. The elastomers are chunkier than the typical ones I've used on other pedals. That makes them very durable, and that's another big selling point here. Before we get to my final words, the last test was to hook up my Fanatec CSLDD and check for any electromagnetic interference. If a device is prone to EMI issues, then the CSLDD, being that it's a common instigator for such problems, it's a fair indicator. And absolutely no problems detected here. It's all normal and not even a hint of a jitter. So it does appear that the SIMJACK controller board is very well shielded against this potential problem. So, with everything covered, I have no negatives to share. SIMJACK have basically nailed it. The price to performance as of right now is unmatched versus all rival pedals I've tested around this price point. When you eyeball similarly spec'd budget pedal sets listed on AliExpress, it's the attention to detail you need to look out for, particularly when it comes to the brake springs and elastomers. That's where many other pedal sets may fall short, but not these. As already mentioned, the UT pedals are essentially the Pro pedals, but upgraded. Now the SIMJACK Pro pedals got many things right before, but they weren't perfectly polished, and this is where the UT pedals fills in those gaps in ways that make them better than the Pro pedals and better than other budget options that are available right now. So if you're looking to get the best bang for your buck, get these, plain and simple. That's my verdict. As always, thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Your feedback is always welcome. And until the next one, happy simming and bye bye.